I just built a full expense tracker app from scratch. Receipt scanning, AI data extraction, spending dashboards with charts, the whole thing. And I want to be very clear about something. I am not a software developer. I don't have a computer science degree. 5 months ago, I didn't even know how to read a single line of code. And now I build systems for trade businesses to help them scale with automation. In this video, you're going to watch me build this entire app live, from empty folder to full working app. And the framework that I'm going to show you, once you learn it, you'll literally be able to turn your thoughts into full working apps. But first, let me show you the finished product and what we came up with. We were able to take this simple end-to-end workflow that captures a receipt image, extracts the data, normalizes it, puts it into a Supabase database, and then sends us back the information into this full-fledged app that works. You can use it from your phone. You can use it online. You can upload receipt images here. They all get tracked on a log right here. We have a pro plan that we can add on. We've maxed out our usage because we've been testing it, but it categorizes your spending. It documents all your receipts. You can check for today, this week, this month, all time. You have accounts to this, so we can actually sign out of it. We have a whole settings page that we can look into where we can sign out. We can upgrade to pro. We haven't configured this yet, but I mean, in 2.5 hours, we were able to take this end-to-end workflow that's 5 nodes and take you less than 5 minutes to make, and then build it out to this full-fledged app that works. We have an expenses page where you can delete, edit, change all your expenses, even just take a look at them. So this is the future. This is what we're getting to. I have no idea how to do any of this stuff. If you told me to do this from scratch, I wouldn't be able to. But enough about how this works. I wanted to show you guys the final outcome before getting into the live build. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to start off by preparing and planning out how this project is going to look. So before I ever opened Claude Code, I created something called a PRD, a product requirements document. It's basically a detailed description of what we're building and how. It covers the features I want, the tech stack, how the pieces connect. It's got things like, what does the upload flow look like? What data do we store? What should the dashboard show? Now, I didn't write this from scratch. I opened up Claude, the desktop version, not Claude Code, and I just talked to it. I said, hey, I want to build an expense tracker app. Here's what I'm thinking. And we went back and forth for about 5 minutes until it gave me this document. I uploaded the workflow that we're going to be using from N8N. And then we went over things like workflow analysis, product definition, everything that you need to design a working web app. You can do this in ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini. It doesn't really matter. Just describe your app idea and ask it to write a PRD. It's really that simple. Just so you guys know, I'll have the PRD template that I used in this video below in the resource document, so you can go ahead and create your own. Now, the PRD is our plan, but we need something to actually execute this plan, and that's where the GSD framework comes in. So GSD stands for Get Stuff Done. It's a framework that lives inside the Claude Code terminal, and basically it's a set of commands that gives the AI structure. Here's the problem with just opening up Claude Code and saying, hey, build me an app. I've done this before. It'll try. It might even get somewhere. But without structure, Claude Code might start making assumptions. It'll start forgetting steps. It'll start losing track of what it's doing. And you end up with something that kind of works, but not really. In order to install the GSD framework into Claude Code, all you need to do is scroll down here on their GitHub page, copy and paste this command, put it in your Claude Code terminal, and everything will be installed, and you'll have access to all the GSD commands in your Claude Code terminal. And there's a technical reason for this. It's called context rot. AI has a limited context window. So if you look at this diagram here, this is the AI's context window. And you think of it as AI's short-term memory. The longer it works on something, the context window begins to fill up. And then once it gets overloaded, at some point, it starts forgetting things, the quality drops, and things begin to break in your app. The GSD framework actually aims to solve this context rot problem, and here's how. Instead of throwing everything at the AI at once, GSD breaks your project into phases, and for each phase, the AI gets a fresh context window, fresh memory, and it never gets overloaded. The GSD workflow looks like this. I really want you guys to remember this because this is going to be the rhythm for the entire video. We're going to plan out each phase, execute each phase, verify that each phase works, clear the context window, and then move on to the next phase. So plan, execute, verify, clear. That's the cadence. And once you guys remember it, you can literally build anything and put your thoughts and take them and turn them into web apps. Think of GSD as something like a project manager for your AI coding agent. You're the decision maker. GSD breaks down the work. Claude does the building. And at every step, you check in and make sure things are on track. All right, so now that we have a good idea of what the GSD framework is, let's see it in action and start building out this full expense tracking app. Just to avoid any confusion, I wanted to make sure that I went over the end-to-end workflow that we're building this app off of. It's a simple 5-node workflow. We're going to upload a receipt, extract the receipt data, normalize it, upload it to our database, and then send the information back to our app. It doesn't have to be a complex workflow. You can make it one. We're going to use this simple one, and you're going to see the power of Claude Code, N8N, and the GSD framework, and how we can develop a legit app that we can use today. If you're ever wondering how a guy like me who knew absolutely nothing about automation 6 months ago is able to build full apps like this and understand the intricacies of AI and AI automation, I highly recommend that you join my friend Nate's school community, AI Automation Society Plus. He's dropping an entire course on vibe coding. He teaches you how to go from zero to hero in AI automation. He even teaches you how to build your own AI automation agency. You'll join over 3,500 members actively building businesses with AI and N8N. Use the link in my description, join today, and I hope to see you in there soon. All right, so here we are in VS Code where we're going to be using Claude Code to help build our app. You can use Claude Code in the terminal as well, but we're going to be using that for something else. I've also already installed the GSD framework and I showed you guys how to do that earlier. But if you couldn't quite follow that, I'll also leave it in the resource documents below. I have an empty project folder here. The only two things that we have is our N8N MCP and the actual N8N workflow. So the first thing that we're going to go ahead and do is start a new project. So we're going to type in GSD new project. We're going to enter that in here and watch what it's going to do. It's not going to start asking us to write code or anything. It's going to start asking us questions on what we want to build. So we were asked, what do you want to build? And then I wrote in below as a write-up of what I want to build. N8N workflow in question is already in the code base. And then I just attached our entire PRD. And now I'm going to go ahead and send that off. So now it's going to start creating the plan and creating the project. Now you'll see that it complimented us here. It says that's one of the most thorough project briefs I've ever seen. You've covered everything: tech stack, schema, page flows, API routes, all the stuff. And now it's going to review everything and it's going to start asking us some questions. You'll see that it says the N8N workflow doesn't have a pass user ID to the Supabase. How do you want to handle this? What we'll do is we'll modify the N8N workflow. That's fine. If you could handle one thing for the YouTube demo, what would it be? For this YouTube demo, let's say the dashboard with animated charts. So we'll submit that answer. So we know that it's for YouTube now. So it says, got it. You'll modify the N8N workflow to accept the user ID. Now it's going to continue to ask us questions to really narrow this down, which is probably my favorite part about this. Your brief already lists clear executions. Anything else that might creep in that you would explicitly block? Yeah, let's just do nothing else. Let's just see what happens. Are any hard deadline or constraint beyond what's in the brief? None. Tech stack is defined, no other constraints. Cool. So now we're just making sure everything is nailed down properly. The scope is locked, no additional constraints. And now we're going to create the project.md file, which is essentially what this whole project is about and that Claude Code can always reference to when we're building out all these phases. So we're going to go ahead and create that project.md and I'll be right back. Claude is then going to ask us how we want to work. You can either do interactive or YOLO. Understand that if you guys go YOLO, it's still going to ask you a question. It's not going to just one-shot this entire thing. It'll get pretty close, but YOLO is probably what we're going to do for this video. But just understand that it will ask you questions. It will still interact with you. It's not just going to shoot this whole thing off and then you'll get the end result. So we're going to go ahead and click on YOLO. It is then going to ask us how thorough should the planning be. For this case, we're going to actually just do quick because we're going to do 3 to 5 phases, 1 to 3 plans each. You can do standard or comprehensive. This will just be how long it takes. Usually I click on the standard one, but for the sake of this video, we're just going to show you how cool this is and how quick it actually can happen. So we're going to go ahead and do quick. Now that our project is initialized and we're ready to create the roadmap, this is where you're going to start seeing that little pattern of clearing the context window, starting a new step, and then clearing it and starting a new step. And just you're going to see that start to repeat now. So what we're going to do is create a roadmap. And this roadmap is where the GSD framework is going to chop this whole project up into 3 to 5 phases since we chose the quick option. And we'll see how many phases that comes up in. So we're going to go ahead, copy and paste this command, type in /clear, clear the conversation, create roadmap, and now our roadmap is going to start to get created. So I'll come back in a second when the whole roadmap is created and we'll go through all the phases that it came up with. So all of our phases have been planned, but before we get into those, I wanted to go over what the project MD, the roadmap MD, and the state MD are. The project MD is pretty much our PRD that we created, just more tailored for Claude Code and how it can properly look at it, execute the steps, understand exactly what we're doing and what we want to be done. The roadmap here is the plan for how we're going to execute each phase, what is in each phase, the verifications, anything that we need to actually properly execute this entire project. And then the state MD is pretty much tracking everything that we're doing day by day. So it's going to track the amount of time it took us to make this app. It's going to track, what phases we are, how many plans we've completed, pretty much just like an accountability thing that is just checking the state of our project and where we're at. Now hopping into the phases that it actually created, so we can see that there was 4 phases. We got the foundation phase, authorization and user, receipt processing, and then finally the dashboard. I was hoping it would add a 5th phase, but we can always just ask it to add it to polish the UI, but we could just do that at the end on our own, which is typically what I like to do. Now we're actually going to go back. We'll close this state MD, and we're actually going to go ahead and plan the first phase and then go ahead and execute it. All right, so now we're really going to get into the cadence that I talked about earlier, where we're going to plan the phase, execute the phase, verify that it works, clear the context window, and then continue on. So let's go ahead. We're going to copy and paste this. Plan phase one, copy and paste it. We're going to clear the context window, and now we're going to start planning the first phase. We'll shoot that off and we'll see what we get back. Now you'll see that our agent is coming up with a bunch of to-dos to update. So we're loading the project state and context. We're performing mandatory discovery assessments, breaking the phase into tasks and estimate scope. We're creating plan.md files, commit plans files to Git. If you guys don't know what Git is, before building this, I would highly recommend just going and watching a 10-minute. So if you ever hear someone say, we're going to push that to Git, it's pretty much GitHub, a repository to be able to save all your progress and not lose it if one of these files goes missing. We're going to wait for these plan files to get created. We're going to quickly go through them to show you guys what is actually happening. And then we're going to go ahead, and when we get the command, we'll go ahead and execute this phase. All right, so Claude Code has finished creating our plan. Let's see what it came up with a couple of phases. So we have 3 different plans for this phase. If we go into plan 1, we'll see that the purpose is to establish the project foundation that all subsequent phases build on: framework, styling, component library, and database client. We will also check the second plan, which is to establish the data layer that auth, phase 2, and receipt processing, phase 3, depend on. So this is essentially, these 3 plans are building the entire foundation of what's to come in the next phases. Every single time we execute a plan, we're going to see a summary MD to see what actually happened. This is just super important because we don't know how to code. We probably won't ever know how to code. At least I won't, but I actually do want to know what's going on so I can maybe troubleshoot it, or, ask Claude Code to change it if I necessarily don't want that thing to have occurred. So you kind of want to have a good idea and be able to understand at least the natural language of what's going on. But the coding aspect, I'm never going to know. So I'm not really going to care about that right now. Now that we know our plans are created, once again, we're going to copy and paste this command. We are going to /clear, and then we're going to paste in this command, and now it's going to start getting to work and building the foundation of our app. First plan of phase 1 was complete, and this is everything that it did. You can go to the phases here, click on the phase, and then it'll give you a summary of once all the work has been complete. And you guys can scroll down here, and this gives you a very in-depth of everything that it did with tech tracking, key decisions that it made. This is the overall summary of what it did. So this took 11 minutes to complete. It created a Next.js 16 app with Tailwind v4, Shadson UI, button plus card, brand green primary color, build passing cleanly. Everything is working. These are the accomplishments. And this is just important for you to know that, you want to know what's happening in every single phase, not just go at it blind. And then it tells you every single task that it did, where it committed it to, deviations from the plan. So issues that came up, it fixed them automatically. Any total deviation. So there was only 2 deviations that it went off from the plan. And then next phase readiness. So it gives you every single time you do a plan, it gives you a very in-depth summary. So this is a very easy way to also kind of learn as you're coding and understand what's happening in every single plan and phase. Now we're going to go ahead and close that summary, and then we're going to move on to actually execute the next plan, which is plan 2. We'll go ahead and copy and paste this. Once again, you guys know the cadence. Clear the conversation and begin working on plan 2 of phase 1. Okay, so we've hit our first checkpoint, and this is just telling us that we need to go create our Supabase database, create our project, import the SQL query that it gave us. So if we go down here to Supabase migrations, we can click on this, press Control A, copy everything, close it, and now we're going to go ahead and hop into Supabase, create our entire project, get our authentication, because we're going to need to put that into our .env.local right here, which is already set up for us. We just need to copy and paste over our credentials. So let's go ahead. We're going to go do that, and I'll see you guys in Supabase in a second. Here we are in our brand new Supabase project. All we're going to do is take the SQL query that we got from Claude Code, hop in over here, go to SQL editor, delete everything that's here, paste in the new code. We're going to run that. I don't know what happened there. We'll just do it again. We'll run this entire code. Failed to run. Profiles already exist. I think it ran the first time. And now we go to tables. Okay, so I don't know, that completely bugged out for me, but we are all good. We created the tables. We got expenses, profiles. If we go to database, we also have user IDs with emails and everything to be able to sign into our app. Now that we have that, we just need to make sure that we have the correct credentials. So how we're going to find that is we're going to go over here to connect. And for the .env local, we're going to need to get our project URL and the anon key right here. So all we're going to do is go ahead and copy both of these, and then I'll see you guys back in VS Code to paste them into our .env local so that our credentials are set up. All right, so continuing down this checkpoint, now that we have our Supabase URL and our Supabase anon key, just make sure you guys press Control S to save that. And then now all we need to do is go to our project settings. We added that. So now I'll verify the app builds with real Supabase credentials after. Type done when migration is applied. All right, so we did that. So now we can go ahead and press done. And now we're going to continue executing this phase or this plan. and I'll get back to you guys when we get another query. The second plan has finished executing, so let's hop into the summary again and see what it did. So now this one, Postgres schema with profiles/expenses tables, full RLS policies, sign up trigger, and matching TypeScript types deployed to Supabase. So it just configured our entire Supabase setup. We did a little bit of that with the checkpoint, but then again, these are all the accomplishments, the task commits, and again, another in-depth summary of everything that it took to do. How long did this one take? So this one took 20 minutes just because we needed to make sure our Supabase was correct. So we're about 30 minutes into creating this app so far. Let's go ahead and close that, and I'll finally get into the last plan of the first phase, which is actually creating the landing page. So we'll go ahead, and again, we're going to copy and paste. We're going to plan the phase, execute it, clear the context window, which is what we're going to do now, and then copy and paste this in and send it off. Okay, so Claude just finished the first task, and now the second task is for us to actually check our landing page and verify it. So what we need to do now is we need to open up a terminal down here at the bottom, run the command npm run dev. The dev server is going to start running. We're going to be on localhost 3000, which is perfect. Then we can go ahead and click on this to visit our actual app. So that's what we're going to go ahead and do now. All right, so this is the first rendition of our Receipt AI web app, receipt tracking that doesn't suck. It's got a nice full landing page, tells us how it works, sample pricing. This is going to be a SaaS product, so we have a free and a pro subscription. Let's see if everything works. So this is just if we could get started. We don't have a page for get started yet, but that's okay. We can just go back. Obviously, we only configured the landing page so far, so we can click on features. That'll bring us down here. So what is Claude asking us to test here? So we're supposed to check if the primary color buttons and colors are good, get started, and pricing, CTA is visible and styled. They want us to check if we can take it into mobile version. So let's see if we can go ahead and do that, which it looks like it does. Everything stacks up on top of each other. Perfect. So the mobile version works. We know that. What else does it want us to check? Scroll. So the nav bars, everything works. And then does it look like a real product landing page? Obviously, there's a couple of things we can change. We can grab inspiration from anywhere. But for the first shot, I think it's pretty good. So we're going to hop back into Claude Code, press approved, and we're going to go on to the next phases. So here we are back in VS Code. We made sure we checked all these checkpoints. We verified it. We're approved. We're ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and type in approve and start planning phase 2. While we're planning phase 2, I'm not going to go through every single plan of phase 2. We're just going to kind of show you any verification checkpoints and the end results of each phase. I don't want to keep you guys here for the next 3 hours, but I do want you guys to see the framework, how everything works step by step, and get as in-depth as possible, just so you guys understand the pattern and you guys can do this for yourself by the end of this video. We're going to go ahead and type approved. That's going to kick off, and then I'll get back to you the next time we have something to do. Phase 1 is finally complete. We did our entire foundation. We created our landing page. Now it's time for phase 2, which is authorization and user management to allow people to sign into our app. We're going to go ahead and clear the context window, plan the phase, execute it, verify that it works, and I'll catch you guys in any single verification that we need to make. Let's go ahead, copy and paste this command, clear the context window, and go ahead and plan this phase. All right, so phase 2 has been planned out. We're going to have 2 different plans for this one. The first plan is the authorization flow with Supabase auth server actions, callback routes, middleware protection, login, and sign up pages. And then the second plan is the app layout and settings. So we're going to configure these first 2 parts are usually for the user, so the front end, the sign in, authentication, things like that. On the next phases, we're actually going to get into integrating N8N, the workflow that we did, and then finally creating the dashboard and polishing up the UI. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to fast forward through the executions of this. If any verifications come up, we'll go through those together. First, you're going to get tired of me saying this, but we're going to go ahead and copy this command, clear the context window, paste in this command, and start executing these plans. We jumped a little bit ahead. We're actually at the end of phase 2 where we have another verification checkpoint. We have 14 little tasks to do here. So let's hop into our web app and complete each task one by one, just so you guys see exactly the process that I do to build out these apps. Here we are back in our web app, and we have a couple of things to do. The first thing we want to do is click on Get Started to see if it sends us to a login page, which it does. This is not actually going to work even though it's saved. So we're going to go ahead and click on the sign up link. We are going to just leave this as it is, create an account. We need to now check your email to confirm your account. Let's go hop into our email really quick and see if that's sent out. Here we are in our email, and we can see that confirm your sign up. Follow this link to confirm your user. We'll go ahead and confirm our email. Now that we're back in our web app, we'll go ahead and click Get Started, sign in. Our email is not confirmed. Let's click it again. Or maybe I clicked on the wrong email. I did. I have to open this and then click on confirm your email. There we go. I'll delete that. Click on Get Started, sign in. And now we're signed in. So we have our dashboard. Our spending dashboard will appear here once we upload our first receipt. We also have a settings page now that has our email. Our full name is not set yet. We have to be able to edit it, and hopefully that comes in the later plans when we upgrade the UI. Our current plan is in here. Let's see if we click on sign out, if that works. Sign out works. And now if we click on start tracking free, we'll come back to the sign in page. Let's go check our Supabase really quick as well and see if any users were created. Now we have a user in here. So my email, provider, everything is confirmed. So we know that our Supabase is connected to our app and everything is working as it should. And that completes every verification step that we need. So let's hop back into VS Code and move on to the next phase. Now that we went through the verification checkpoint, we went through all 14 steps. We know that everything works as it should. There's a couple of things we're going to change, but we'll change it at the end. All we need to do now is type in approved and wait for the next phase to start up. Next up, we have phase 3, which will be the bulk of this app, which is the receipt processing. So uploading the receipt, using the end-to-end workflow and implementing it into the app, review and edit screens, and then API routes. So we're going to go ahead, plan this phase out. I'll see you guys once this is completely planned out and executed, and we'll go through all the verification steps together. Once again, I know you guys aren't tired of hearing this yet. We're going to clear the context, enter, type in the new command, and send it off. At the end of phase 3, we have another checkpoint verification, and this is to actually test the functionality of our web app. The point of our web app is to be able to upload receipts, have them categorized and logged into a database for us to track our overall spending. So in this verification, we need to navigate to the upload a receipt, process the receipt, see if it went into our Supabase, if our end-to-end workflow is working properly. So that's what we're going to go ahead and do. And let's hop into the web app again. Back to the dashboard of our web app, you'll see now that we have an upload section to be able to upload a receipt. So I'm going to go ahead, grab a receipt that I got from Chipotle and enter it in here. I added our Chipotle receipt. Let's go ahead and process this receipt and see what happens. We processed the receipt and we saw there that something popped up. We didn't get a confirmation or anything. So we're going to go ahead. That's actually good that that happened. We know that 2 of 10 receipts use this period. If we go to our Supabase table, expenses, now the Chipotle receipt popped up, but we didn't get a notification in our app or we weren't able to edit the receipt, which we were supposed to be able to do. So let's actually hop into VS Code and tell it that it didn't do what it was supposed to do and ask for the necessary edits to be made. After looking at these verification steps, there's a couple of things that we missed out on, like being able to verify the vendor, being able to edit any fields or upload another receipt, then click discard. We didn't get to do that, so I'm going to type in what we need to change. We're going to execute that and we'll see Claude Code make the changes. I went ahead and told Claude Code everything that didn't happen, so I was not able to edit the receipt. I was not able to verify any of the receipt information. There was no discard option either. The end-to-end workflow worked, but on the app side, not everything executed properly. We're going to go ahead and send that off and see what Claude Code comes back with. Now Claude Code is investigating the issue. It'll read the files to diagnose what went wrong. So you guys are seeing me debug this thing in real time. Claude Code is just going to see what is happening. It's going to fix it by itself. I don't do anything. I just tell it what didn't work. Okay, so as expected, Claude Code went in, debugged the thing, figured out exactly what went wrong, and gave me the root causes. So the initial cause was the API route didn't normalize the end-to-end response. If respond to webhook returned an array, okay, then review page, handle save, and handle discard both had if an expense ID return, which we didn't get from end-to-end. So now the fixes that were applied were the API route now unwraps the array responses and normalizes all field with explicit defaults, save without expense ID, discard without expense ID, review page also handles array wrapped session storage data. Sweet. So now we have another verification to retry. We're going to go ahead and go upload a receipt. We're going to go edit it, review it, and then upload it to our database. So let's go see if that works now. Okay, so back in our dashboard, now we're going to try and upload 2 receipts. The first one will be that Chipotle receipt that we saw earlier. We'll go ahead, process this receipt. Our end-to-end workflow is working now in the background, and let's see if we're able to edit this receipt this time. There we go. Now we can pull it up. We know it's Chipotle. The amount is correct. The date is correct. Chicken bowl, guacamole, perfect. So we can we'll go ahead and just discard this one for now. We'll go ahead, discard it, and now we'll go add that fuel receipt that we had earlier. This is the next one. We'll go ahead, process this receipt. We get the editing menu, fuel depot, 102.98. The date is correct. Transportation, fuel purchase at $33 per gallon. We'll go ahead and save this one. And now that we saved it, we can go to Supabase and it pulls up in the expenses sheet. So we know that it's saved. And then the dashboard is in phase 4. So we haven't set that up yet, but we know that the uploading works. In our settings, we're starting to run out of our receipt data. So we might have to upgrade to the pro plan. I'm just kidding. We can just clear this eventually. Know that it works. We had to do some live debugging there, which is great, but not to worry because all you need to do is tell Claude Code exactly what's wrong and it'll go in, diagnose it, and fix it. Finally, phase 4, which is dashboard and analytics. We're going to create a polished dashboard with animated category breakdown charts, expense history with filters, and usage metering. We're going to go ahead and plan this phase out, execute it. Once the verification checkpoint pops up, we'll get together again, go through that, finalize this app, and then I'll show you guys also how to make any UI changes, just grabbing a inspiration from any website or app and completely revamp our UI. we'll go ahead, clear the context, copy in the command, and kick off phase 4. All right, so fast forwarding a little bit, we're at the end here of phase 4, and we have our final checkpoint. So this is what Claude Code did so far, which was created a dashboard with animated spending charts, stat cards, period toggles, recent receipt lists, and a usage meter. This is how we're going to verify it. So where the dev server is already running at this local host. Now we're going to verify all these things. So let's hop into the web app for the final time probably and check it out. Here we are in our dashboard, and I gotta say, I like what I see. We have, multiple periods. So today, this week, this month, all time. I just uploaded 5 brand new receipts, right? So data's very, very fresh, but we can see that our receipts get logged here. Chipotle, Chick-fil-A, the Home Depot, Stop and Shop, and then some German place. I don't even know where I got that receipt from. But we can look at our table. It's animated and all that. So it highlights this section. We have a little tab that follows around with the materials, which is pretty cool. I like the little delay on it. The utilities, other, food and drink is our top category. We only had 1 receipt processed today, which is accurate. Spent $35 today. What about this week? This week we had 5 receipts uploaded. We spent a lot of money this week. Materials was the top category because our biggest bill was the Home Depot. So we know that that's accurate. The switching feels smooth. The UI looks great. It's a little bit simple for my liking. So that's actually the next step that we're going to take. We're going to go ahead and approve this phase, and then we're going to actually overhaul the entire UI using Claude's front-end design skill. Back in VS Code, we verified that everything works. So we're going to go ahead, type in approved, send it off, and we're going to finish off these phases. And then we're going to completely overhaul the UI using some inspiration from a couple websites that I like. That's actually hilarious. I made a mistake. That wasn't the end of phase 4. That was the end of the first plan of phase 4. So now we have the second plan coming up. So we're going to go ahead, execute that, and then come back with you with any verification checkpoints before we overhaul the UI. As always, clear the context window, copy and paste in the new command, execute the plan. You know how it goes. Okay, so we hit another verification checkpoint, and in this phase, we added a whole expense history page, and now we're going to be able to go into our web app and manage all our expenses, make any edits that we want, delete any expenses, and then we just need to make sure that there's no console errors and everything is smooth. So let's go hop into that. Let's go check out this new page that it created, make sure all the functionality works, and then we're going to get into the part that you're all waiting for, completely overhauling the UI and making sure that that's actually possible and showing you that's actually possible. Our web app now has an expenses page where we can hop in there. We can select the correct category. We have food and drink, transportation, materials, office, utilities, and other. We'll hop into the food and drink. Actually, we'll hop into the all, and we'll make sure that we can, categorize this by amount. So we know we can filter it by amount. We can categorize it by the date. We see that the category is populated. If I wanted to, I would have asked for this to be color coordinated, but I'm not going to do that now. It gives us the description. We could always change the price as well. So let's say we spent $200 at Chipotle and then, select it, $200 now. If we were to go back to our dashboard, our food and drink would go up significantly. So we know that that works. Our expenses now, if we wanted to delete the Chick-fil-A, we could just go in here, delete that. It'll be removed. We'll go back to our dashboard and we'll see that it went down and our Chick-fil-A receipt is no longer present in our recent receipts. So the expenses page works. I actually like this functionality a lot. That way, everything that you do within this app, you don't have to go outside of it. All you need to do is upload it. You can manage everything from this app. And I think that's pretty cool. And then you can just continue to slowly add functionality, which you'll see once we actually complete this milestone and finish the MVP of this app. It'll ask us to start discussing the next milestone. I'm starting to sound like a broken record here, but if you don't know how to code, this is exactly how you have to build an app. We just have to constantly say approved. But this checkpoint was approved. We're good. We're happy with everything. We're going to go ahead, send that off. And now I think we're going to be getting to the end here, wrapping this up, getting the MVP set up. And then we're going to go ahead, tell it that we don't like the UI, and we're going to go ahead and change it. Once we complete our app and we're happy with it, the final thing to do is to actually complete the milestone and then push the entire project into GitHub. But we're not happy with it. We want to change the UI. So what I did was I went to N8N's website. I took a screenshot of what their landing page looks like. I shot it into Claude Code. I said, I don't like the UI at all. Actually, I want it to be more like N8N's landing page. Go check out their website and make the UI of our web app similar. I'm going to go ahead and push this through and we'll see what happens. I just sent that off to Claude Code. Now it's going to start thinking. It's going to revamp our entire UI. And once it does that, I'm going to get back to you guys. We'll go explore just to show you guys the potential of what you can do. And if you don't like what you have, you can just change it. As expected, Claude came back to us with some questions. So which part of the apps should get the N8N style dark redesign? We're going to go ahead with everything, complete overhaul, shoot that off. Now it's going to start getting to work and really just start completely overhauling the web app. So what you saw before is not what you're going to see when we get back to it. Claude finished up, completely overhauled our entire UI. This is everything that it did. Changed all the background, changed the cards, the primary colors, the text. 17 files were updated, removed all the green. Wow. Let's go see what it looks like. And as you can see, everything got changed. It's a lot more popping now with the orange, purple kind of vibe, but everything is still the same. You know, all our UI, everything upload looks different. It's just a little bit orange now. Expenses are all the same. Pop in. I would probably make this text a lot more white to be able to be seen. Settings, you know, all the same. Everything is looking good. We'll go back to our dashboard. We can click through everything. Our website's fully functional. We just changed all the colors. And just like that, all I did was type in a command. I said I didn't like it. I gave it an example and it changed the whole thing for me. And that's just where we're at with this vibe coding stuff. Really take your thoughts, put them in Claude Code and see what you can come up with. Now that we changed the UI, made it fit our liking, we can go ahead, complete the milestone, finish the MVP for this web app version. We're going to do the same cadence we've been doing all video. We're going to go ahead, clear the context out, copy and paste this command, complete this milestone and push it to GitHub. Before we push this to GitHub, we actually have to set up a GitHub repository. So all we're going to do is go to our GitHub dashboard, create a new repository, name it whatever you want. We're going to name it expense tracker app. Once that's done, we can just make it a private repository, create repository. Once that's set up, we'll just take this link. We'll go ahead and just copy it from here. And once it's copied, we're just going to go to Claude Code, literally type in, push it to this GitHub repository, enter the link, and it'll do all of it for us. As we close out the MVP of this app, you'll see that the milestone version 1.0 was completed. It'll add a milestones section into our roadmap of everything that we just did over the course of this video, all the phases, everything that we implemented, all the changes that we made. It's all documented in the first version. If we close this out, now it'll ask us to discuss the next milestone. And in this milestone, what I'd highly encourage you guys to do is talk about deployment using Vercel, potentially adding Stripe payments to your app, or anything else that you want to add, any new implementation, any new idea. Have a conversation with Claude and you guys will be able to develop it. But now all we're going to do is push everything to the GitHub repository that I showed you guys earlier. We'll shoot this off and now everything that's in this folder will go get saved into GitHub repository. So if anything ever gets deleted, we can just go there, pull all the files out and continue building this app. Claude Code gave us back our confirmation saying that everything was pushed to the GitHub repository. If we open that up here, we'll see that everything got pushed into here. All our migrations, all our planning, all our files that are in there, everything got pushed into GitHub and now we're all good to go. Now an expense tracker app is just one example. The GSD framework works for any project. The pattern is the exact same. You could build a CRM for your business, a client portal so clients can see their project status, an invoice generator, a job scheduling dashboard, a client pipeline. The pattern goes PRD, GSD, plan, execute, verify, clear the context, and then connect it to N8N for the automation layer. That's the pattern. And I'll tell you one thing right now. 6 months ago, this was not possible, but now it is. So I highly encourage you to learn it and go have fun with it. Build some apps on your own, test it out, troubleshoot it, and build something that you can use on your day-to-day life. If you are able to describe what you want, you can build it. If you want something like this built for your business, or you're looking for something a little bit more custom, that's exactly what we do here at Deep Rooted AI. We build custom solutions tailored to your workflow to help improve the efficiency of your employees. Use the link in my description to visit my website and book a discovery call with me today. So to quickly recap, Claude Code plus the GSD framework gives you structured app building. The AI plans it before you code, you guide the decisions, it does the implementation. Plan, execute, verify, clear the context. N8N handles your backend, webhooks, AI processing, database operations. You do not need to build APIs from scratch. 4 or 5 nodes, a simple workflow, and you've got a backend. The barrier to building software is completely gone. You don't need a computer science degree. You don't need to learn JavaScript, React, or SQL. All you need to know is what you want to build, describe it clearly, and the possibilities are endless. I'll have the full N8N workflow, the PRD template, and the full resource guide linked in the description below. Everything you need to build this today. As always, if you've gotten any value from this video, drop a like, hit the subscribe button. It helps me out a ton. I'm hoping to get to 100 subscribers by the end of the month. Drop a comment down below on what you would like to build if you could just describe it to AI. Matter of fact, don't even leave a comment, just go do it because now you can. I'll be posting videos every single Tuesday and Friday, and I appreciate you guys staying this far in the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Hey, something I like to do at the end of all my videos is pray for you guys, my audience, because I genuinely care about you guys. I love you guys, and I appreciate you spending your time to watch my video. If this makes you uncomfortable, feel free at this point to click off the video, and I'll see you next week. Needless to say, I'm going to go ahead, pray for you guys, and send you off with a blessing. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this day. Thank you for so much for giving me the opportunity to spread this information, help people develop their skills, teach them about these tools. Lord, I just pray for the other person on the side of the screen. I pray for their business. I pray for their families. Lord, I just pray that they take some action on what I'm trying to teach them. They go outside and learn these skills and just use it to benefit their lives, Lord. use it to benefit their business, give them more time back in their day, and just allow them to do what they love to do without the stress of spending so much time doing nuanced tasks. Lord, I pray that you give them strength, courage, wisdom, and discernment to continue to serve their customers. And I pray all these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Now go have a great day. I'll see you in the next one.